How are we doing today, Pokemon fans? Today I want to talk about something that I think could take Pokemon games to another level. Now, I love Pokemon games. Hey, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel dedicated to Pokemon content if I didn't, but there's always been something that bothered me just a little bit about the games. Pokemon needs a difficulty setting. Now, I'd be lying if I said I'd never lost a battle in a Pokemon game before. I absolutely have. Aerie beat me in my first playthrough of Scarlet and Violet. But I built a team that was almost entirely weak to fighting. I'm not proud of it, but it happened. I think overall, though, the games are not terribly challenging, and having the ability to change modes would be a ton of fun for fans and add even more replayability to the games. Maybe the concern is that Pokemon thinks that if fans were to lose a lot during their playthrough, that they might like the games less. But we just have to look at the original anime series with Ash to know that losing is just part of the journey. Honestly, I feel like Ash lost more than he won during his adventures, and that's okay. We learn from our mistakes, we embrace the challenge. Maybe there's concern over trying to attract new fans to the franchise if they add a difficulty setting, but why not add an easy, medium, and hard mode? We'll call them Pokeball, Ultra Ball, and Master Ball. You pull up to the loading screen for a new game and you're presented with all three options. I'd even make Pokeball difficulty easier than current Pokemon games. Description: if you're new to Pokemon, this is the setting for you. And on your journey, you can get lots of tips about Pokemon types and abilities. Gym leaders Pokemon evolve later in the game to make it a nice, easy playthrough. Ultra Ball difficulty. A little bit harder than a traditional Pokemon game. Every gym leader and Team Star member has items for their Pokemon, and their ace has access to a hidden ability. Nothing too crazy, but something to add more of a challenge. I wouldn't change too much more than that though. For Ultra Ball mode, I think that poses enough of a challenge with everything else being the same as it would be for a normal playthrough. Master Ball difficulty. This is for experienced Pokemon players. If you are not an experienced player, choose a different difficulty setting. On Master Ball mode, every trainer around the region has access to items for their Pokemon, and quite a few Pokemon that you'll come up against have access to their hidden abilities. Trainers have maxed out one specific stat on every Pokemon, whether it's speed or attack or HP, one of them is maxed out. Instead of full mono-type teams, gym leaders have theme teams where 4 of their Pokemon are one type, but 2 are different types that still fit with the general theme of their team. They'll look to set up weather, rain, sun, sand, or something like psychic terrain if it fits their theme team. If they have a slow team, they'll try to set up a Trick Room or Tailwind. Gym leaders will also have 1 or 2 Pokemon with access to a setup move like Dragon Dance or Calm Mind, making it more challenging to switch in and out. And yeah, Master Ball difficulty is on set mode. You don't get to switch out after defeating a Pokemon. Finally, there is a level cap. If you roll into a gym, their Pokemon will match your Pokemon's top level. You start the game leveling up to level 100 and think you're being sneaky. All of the gym leaders' Pokemon will be level 100. Oh, I forgot one thing. No potion spamming. Trainers are limited to 1 potion per battle inside gyms. I could add more and more and more challenges and make the hardest game ever, but I don't think that's the best for Pokemon. Hard mode is tough, but certainly not impossible. Now, if we're being honest, you can put self-imposed difficulty settings on yourself for Pokemon games. There's Nuzlocke where you're picking Pokemon at random, and once they faint in a battle, they can't get used again, so you better not lose or you're going to run out of Pokemon. Or you can tell yourself, Matt, you don't need to level up so much, just calm down on the leveling up, okay, big dog? But I like leveling up. It's fun. Fine, but you don't need that Dragon Dance Tyranitar on your team, okay? But I love T-Tar. He looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. See, the problem is I have no self-control. When I go to the grocery store and I go down the chip aisle, I'm sorry, I'm buying a bag. That's why I don't go down the aisle. I don't want Pokemon games to become the chip aisle. I still want to play them. It's not like Pokemon hasn't had difficult moments within some of their games. Like, for instance, Leon's team is no joke in Sword and Shield. If you're not trained up for that battle or don't have some Pokemon that can counter his, you could be in trouble. Honestly, Leon's G-Max Charizard probably sweeps through Gita's entire Scarlet and Violet team. But it would be nice to see a game have more than just one tough moment. Leon's battle should be the toughest. but make the rest of the game a little bit more challenging. Not every trainer battle should be an absolute war, but I just want a little bit more difficulty spread throughout the adventure. For me at least, I don't like grindy difficulty. The person who made the Pokemon game might say, well, have you caught the 6,000 Pokemon in the game and expanded Dex yet? Well, no, I mean, not all of them quite yet. Then you haven't beaten the game. That's not really difficult though, it's just grindy, it's easy to do, it just takes time. I don't know, there's tons of things I love about Pokemon games. The team building, the battles, the exploration, seeing the new Pokemon in action, learning about their new moves, adventuring through a new region, or an old region that I loved. But I really do think the lack of a difficulty setting holds Pokemon back. It could add so much more for both new players and experienced players. Do you think I'm way off on this, or does Pokemon need a difficulty setting for their game? And if you think it needs a difficulty setting, what kind of options in the kind of tiers going up would you have to make things, you know, a little bit more progressively difficult for fans as they play through the games? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.